Luke Rides is back, but also Buell Motorcycles is back. Buell?
When I'm blue, I think of you in your eyes. How they look at mine, so kinda like that. You slow down time and everything's just fine.
Oh my god, this is the new Buell. This is the Hammerhead. This is the first time I have met the new Buell. This is very interesting to see Buell come back to the world, come back to the United States of America, and coming back to Britain. So this is the Hammerhead, and this is Buell SuperBike. It is over 175 horsepower and a lot of torque from this V-twin 1190 cc's, fuel injected and computer controlled. So very modern race engine. And these are not built in India, not built in China, not built in Asia. The new Buells are being built in the United States of America, in Michigan, in North America. So that's really good to see the brand still being built where it was created. Even the alloy wheels are reminiscent of the older Buells with that sort of star shape at the back, and they look really good. You notice that the caliper is underneath, and that is a racing design. So in racing, it makes changing the caliper or the pads a lot easier. And it's got this actually quite tidy, I've got to say, quite a tidy exhaust system for OEM. And you get these lovely machined parts here, which look good. And the base spec Hammerhead Superbike gets the carbon panels, and the carbon panels are, wow, that is some gorgeous carbon. Really cool. And interesting how the rear shock is mounted as well. And the cabling is actually quite tidy. You notice that it just looks tidy. Even that cooling pipe looks tidy. So very nice touch by Buell, and even the cover here is all carbon fiber. And this is something that I've just learnt today. So fuel, you're going to be wondering, well, where does the fuel go into? Because some of the older Buells had a design where the fuel was in the frame, and Buell have still kept that. So the fuel is actually stored in the frame itself, which I did not know, which is very interesting. But you still put your fuel into a fuel cap. You get a steering dampener and this beautiful aluminium machined yoke. And thanks to those aerodynamic panels, you get a lot of wind protection, which is really good. And even the indicators are LED. The headlight is LED. And then you just look at these machined calipers, and don't they look powerful? I kid you not, this Superbike has no anti-lock brakes. But it does have a traction control system, which I only learnt today. So you can actually go into the onboard computer and you can actually set what traction control level you would like. And you use those three buttons to be able to cycle through the different menus. You get a key, you get this anodized top yoke with the red, and it does look pretty sensual. Definitely do need a rear seat cover being a Superbike, because no pillion's going to hold on, and the side stand goes quite far. Again, machined parts here, which look very good. The rear swing arm actually does look fairly nice. That's nice. Got a rear shock, all nicely tucked away. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to start seeing tail tidies for these. So they're now owned by a different band, by a group, P Liquid something parts, and they have been able to resurrect Buell, and this is the first time I've met one. And the handlebars, race handlebars, so you notice after an hour and a half, 2 hours of riding, your back is going to be really hurting you, your neck, your shoulders. This is the stuff other motovloggers don't always talk about. And yeah, you'll be screaming for a break and a rest. Double overhead cam, just looks absolutely epic. It looks really nice from every angle, from every part. United States of America flag on the side. I wouldn't be surprised if you will get peg deletes for this at some point. There's no pillion's going to hold on to a superbike like this. And I think it's a very interesting superbike. So Buell are coming back. Even look at the way the disc is fitted. It's very different compared to Kawasaki, BMW, and Ducati and Yamaha. And that's just a signature Buell thing. There's a reason why Buell always liked that design. But what a race bike. Really stands out. It looks fantastic. It's got all the right lines. And it's, in a way, it's an honour to meet one for the first time.
What you're seeing here is the Buell Super Naked. It's the 1190cc V-twin, double overhead cam, computer controlled and fuel injected. It's interesting what also Buell have done here. These are called perimeter discs, and the reason why Buell went with perimeter discs is to reduce unsprung weight that somehow helps handling, which is interesting. So a way that Kawasaki or Ducati or BMW do that in their own way is things like the Martinini alloys and the carbon alloys. So this is Buell's take on that. And what a beautiful engine. Very, very, very pretty, and it's nice to see that the cabling is actually quite tidy as well when you get closer to that super naked engine. I think you even see the radiators and the cooling fans. Being a super naked, there is absolutely no wind protection, and you will get a lot of buffeting on this super naked, and that's normal. That's all a part of being a super naked. So you have no fairings, you get to see that magnificent engine, that big honking engine. So don't be putting a screen on this. Don't do that. If you did that, you're defeating the whole point of this super naked. So the reason why I pointed out the frame is because Buell have done something very interesting. They have used the frame as, in a way, the fuel tank. So the fuel is actually stored in the frame, which I've never seen with a motorcycle before.
Cool.
The foot pegs that you saw, they're beautifully machined. They look really nice. And what's interesting is they're also adjustable, which is very different. You do get a steering dampener. The steering dampener, though, is not computer controlled and monitored by the computer. It's more of a, how would you put it, more like an analog steering dampener, but the main thing that it's there, and it is adjustable, and the whole point of it is to stop the handlebars going out of control and stopping tanks, that thing that you hear about, tank slapping. Because that is such a powerful engine, it's all about keeping you stable and keeping you safe. and the handlebars are mostly straight with a sporty kink to them. So this is a super naked that is very comfortable. The V-twin produces 185 horsepower and a lot of torque. You do get LED lights, LED indicators. You definitely do need rear seat cover because no pillion's going to hold on to the super naked. And interesting here, so the rear caliper is underslung, and it's underslung so that if you need to take the rear wheel off, it makes your life a lot easier putting the rear wheel back in because you're not having to fight the caliper to do that. And the panels that are there, they do look quite nice. They look beautiful, and love the little detailing there with the carbon-like stripes. Really nice. It certainly makes an impression, this Buell Super Naked, and it looks good. And you even get those little red anodized tops at the forks. Controls are pretty basic, so you've got your start button, your dip beam, main beam, but I think this is a very interesting Super Naked. Very cool. So it was pretty interesting to meet Buell and the new Buell Motorcycles. Buell now making a SuperBike with the hammerhead, Super Naked, Super Cruiser, and now they're building a Super Touring variant, which is pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive because what Buell have been able to do is to make a motorcycle for most riders. But also Buell are going to try to push their motorcycles across the world, and that's a very good idea. So they're trying to get to a point where they can sell motorcycles throughout the rest of Europe. At the moment, Buell have only made a start with Britain. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Until I found a lighthouse in your heart, shining like a beacon of bright stars. How is it life go wandering far? Until I found a lighthouse in your heart, guiding me out the dark.
Thanks for watching. Got a cup of tea.